You see that time change allegedly. I don't know. I think I slept right through it. Who knows? Welcome, everyone. It is Monday. It's a great day. Let's talk about coincidences because people still ask, but isn't it a coincidence? There are no coincidences. If something has happened, it had a cause. Hmm? Causation. If something has happened, if you are seeing the evidence of something, it has a cause. Nothing is random. As much as that may be baffling, nothing is random. It can't be random. The universe is, you see, people talk about the universe and we think, and we give the universe a personality and we say, oh, the universe is helping us. Oh, the universe is punishing. Oh, the universe is, no, universe is an inanimate object just like you and I are, but it is the awareness within that has created the universe. The universe is a created thing. This is what it is. It has order, it has structure. What's that structure? Those seven principles. So nothing happens randomly or by chance. And here's a way you can test it for yourself. You see now, allegedly, how we're all discombobulated because the time for the people whose clocks did not go forward. What's the difference with them? How come it does? How come their clock stays the same, and they're okay, but ours have moved, and we think we've been put out of sorts. We think we have been. Now, here is the thing: the sun, moon, and stars will all influence us. Of course, they do. They influence. They do not, however, control you. I'm going to say this again: the sun, moon, and stars influence us, but they do not control us. What controls us? The one who looks right back at you in the mirror. Oh, but Angela, Mercury's in retrograde. I want you to listen to what that sounds like. Mercury's in retrograde, so my life is in complete disarray right now. What? Who has power over your life? The thing that you imbue with your power is the thing that will have power over you. There is nothing that should have power over you. No outside force. As within, so without. You are meant, but think about why I say that. Not because I'm cool or want to be hip, but where is God? And this is part of the reason why the word coincidence is so challenging to let go of, because it all follows that state of thinking that we're not in control of our lives. That's what it follows. So until we relinquish that thing that says we don't have control of our lives, well, then we'll continually be at the mercy of something else. And see, when I say that to you, there's a little part of you that goes, oh, that's not true. God controls my life. Yes, but where is God? It's just that we've never been taught to be sovereign. And here's the funny thing: you don't have to be taught to be sovereign, you already are. It's just that an opinion was given, and because that opinion was given, we don't want to be, we want to take responsibility. So that's why it's easier to say, well, that's just a coincidence. as opposed to, oh snap, the cause is within me. Oh, I did that. You see? And it's only because we don't know. And even when we start to learn it until we experience it, then it's different. When you experience it, you'll know that it is you and I who are the cause. We are the cause. So there's not going to be a coincidence. If we are the cause, depending on the cause we are, it will bring about its own effect. It brings about its own effect. Ponder it. But not just ponder, test it. This is why we must see the contents of our own mind, but deliberately. Right? The law of correspondence. I like the way Neville puts it. He says, we forget the seeds we've planted. When our harvest comes in, we're like, oh, I didn't plant that. Because our memories are short. We don't remember the things. Look at how many things we do in a day. How many thoughts what did they tell us? 70,000 plus thoughts in a day. Now, here's the thing. If you were the one dictating what those 70,000 thoughts were, you'd begin to see your power. Instead of allowing the mind to just run amok and just spew out 70,000 thoughts plus in a day. What if you were the one to say, no, I'm going to have 3 thoughts today. Here's what these 3 thoughts are. And if your mind wanders, you bring it back every single time to one of those 3 thoughts. I can't, right now, I can't even fathom what that would be like. Why not? Because our minds are undisciplined. We do not focus on any one thing for any length of time. 8 seconds, allegedly, is what they get out of us now. 8 seconds? Hello. That's where the power is. Where you give your attention and your focus. Because those are the causes of things. So when you see something or you experience something, better yet, when you experience something, that is an effect. But you see, we think the cause is outside. The cause is not outside of us. The cause is internal. As within, so without. As inside, so outside. As above, so below. So then the question becomes, what are we breathing life into on a daily basis? And then we say, well, what a coincidence. Oh, it would have happened that way anyhow. Well, hello. It can't happen any other way. Cause, effect, correspondence. The idea generated is the one experienced. Everything follows those principles. But as I mentioned, that's a huge and scary looking responsibility. Because then we will hear the question, but did that child bring it about for themselves? Remember this. Each person is in a state. When you are a child, you are under the control of your parents for a time. They guide and they do things because you are this blank slate. God is truly fast asleep in there. This seemingly helpless blank slate is what you are. So when you ask the question, but does a child bring that about for themselves? No. We're under the control of our parents. So whatever state or whatever mental state our parents are in, they behave accordingly, which bring about effects in our lives. This is why you see how bold we are as people? They tell you, the Catholics will tell you, give us your children from 0 to 7 and you will have a Catholic for life. Why? Because they comprehend that when you mold and shape the young mind, the thing that you've molded and shaped, it's in a state, and it will only follow that state until the person who's in the state notices that they're in a state and then decides to change. But you see how we go through the world is we don't recognize that we are in a state. We think that's the way we actually are, and thus we don't challenge the state, thereby we remain in the state. So this is why it looks like, oh, well, that would have happened anyway. This is why they tell you you can predict certain behaviors based upon how a child was treated. Not a coincidence. If you observe the cause, you can see the effect. Not a coincidence. This is why, quote unquote, some psychiatrists or psychologists can appear to be prophets when they say, oh, but look, if a child goes through this, they'll come out like that. Right? But what they don't always remember is the capacity of the person to change. The capacity of the person to change. Right? So remember today, if you are experiencing something, the cause lies within. I know it's a huge responsibility, but if you would take hold of it, not even with kid gloves, just grab it by the collar and say, yes, damn it. I am the cause. Good. All the power to you when you do that. Because when you recognize that you are the cause, you predict the effects that you can see in your life. And you know, well, listen, if I do this, this will happen. If I do that, that'll happen. What do I want to happen? And you choose the effect that you want to happen, which brings about its cause, which changes your state so that you can act differently to match the effect you are experiencing. So life is not a coincidence. It is not a set of random happenings. Things happen. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. So if we take that bull by the horns, you grab it by the horns and you swing yourself up on its back. Now you control the bull, which seemingly was out of control and had no ruler. But you saw the motion. You grab one horn and you swing your body with momentum up onto the back of the bull. Now who's in charge? You must subdue it. And how do we subdue what appears to be a tumultuous world? By using the law. It seems as if it is out of control. It appears to be out of control. It appears to be chaotic. It appears to be not one person with any kind of sense is doing anything. That's only what it looks like. But if you apply the law in your own life, you will bring about that control. You will bring about that. You will subdue it. It's only because you don't know that you are the operant power, that you are the one in the saddle. It's only because you don't know. That's why it looks like it's running amok with you, like you're on a Bronco waiting for the guy to open the door at the rodeo. It's only why it looks that way, because we've not taken charge of ourselves to say, wait a minute, 70,000 thoughts plus in a day. Here's one that I want to deliberately have. Just one. And if I have that one thought deliberately, how long can I have it? How many times can I think it? How long can I sustain it? You've just wrangled in your mind. The more you practice it, the more you subdue it. And the more you subdue it, the more power it builds that you can use. I know. But Angela, that's so weird. I don't know if I can do that. Only because you've never done it before. Only because you've never done it before. So the practice would be, as the scientists would tell you, there are 70,000 plus thoughts in a day. When you get up in the morning, which one do you want to have? So you see, you're now saying, my thoughts aren't random. They follow whatever state I am in. They follow whatever state I am in. So what thought do I want to have today? Predominantly. Select it. Just select it. And remind yourself, okay, listen, this is the thought for today. All day, every day. If I slip out of this thought, catch it. Let's come back to it. You'll notice when you go to do the quote unquote mundane tasks, that is the time we should be most vigilant. Because when the task is mundane, when you're doing something that it's like breathing, you can just do it. Oh, now the mind becomes untethered and begins to float away. Right? Because you don't need it for anything, because you're doing something on autopilot, so you don't need it. You don't need to be conscious of what you're doing. That's when you should practice being the most conscious, is when you are doing the most mundane of tasks. This is why these inner conversations and mental diet, they run us, because we let them get out of control. We don't rein our thoughts in, because you think, oh, I'm just showering. There's nothing going on in my mind. Next thing you know, you're like, oh, snap, the water's cold. What were you doing? You were thinking about something. And if I ask you what you were thinking about, you have no idea. Or if you were busy thinking and that thought had you feeling ho-hum and doom and gloom, you get out of the shower and you're like, my life, I don't know what it's here for. And we say things like that. But we, all of a sudden, allegedly, all of a sudden, that mood seemed to came out of nowhere. No, it's just that that mood has been practiced incessantly. That's why it is there. A mood does not just come upon you. You catch it. You catch it. Remember when Neville, in one of his lectures, he says he was walking down Harlem and he could smell Bajan food? And he was teleported back to Barbados just because of the food he smelled, but he was walking down the street. Most mundane thing to do is to walk down the street. And the cacophony of sound that permeates us. You can hear the dog in the distance. You can hear the birds in the distance. You can hear the engines as they go by, and each vehicle that passes has its own sound. Just all of this noise. And then the mind, depending on which noise it latches onto based on a memory. You're gone with it. And you end up somewhere like, oh snap, how'd I get here? Or something happens, you go, oh, what a coincidence. Forgetting that we are the cause. Knowing that you are the cause of your life is not a punishment. It is the most powerful tool that you will ever hold. Think about that. If you know that you are the cause, can somebody else come along and manipulate you? No, they can't. Because why? They can't. Because you are the one who makes the choices. That's why. So don't look at it as, oh my God, how am I going to handle such a big responsibility? It's not a big responsibility. Change the perception of it. What do we as children long for when we're children? I want to be a grown-up. Why do you want to be a grown-up? So you can make your own choices. And then we become grown-ups, we forget that that's what we've always wanted, to make our own choices. But yet we still allow others to make our choices for us. Just as we still are children. So today, there can never be a coincidence. If there is an effect, there was a cause. You and I are the cause. Whatever's going on in our lives, we are the cause. And it is not a judgment. It is not a time to feel sorry and whip out your small violin. That's not what it's for. Look at the power that you've just been bestowed. But that power can be a little daunting at times, I'm sure. But don't let that scare you. It shouldn't scare you. Walking into the unknown should scare you. But you take control of your life. There isn't an unknown. Because you know that every cause has an effect and every effect has its cause. So how can it be unknown? It's just that you might not see it yet, but you know the effect. Because you know what you want to experience. Well, then the cause comes about. Because they're partners. So you see, it brings peace of mind when you walk and you know that you're the cause. Joaquim, you're so sweet. You say you have too many ideas. You write them down. But there's one idea that continually shows up every single time. That's how you know which one to go with. You may have 30 in a day, but out of the 30, how many times are you having the same one? That is the idea to follow. It's the one that's showing up the most. I trust this morning that you are encouraged to just sit for a moment and talk yourself through this. Wait. I'm the one in control of my life. Feels like a burden. But it's not a burden, it is a glorious purpose. It is a glorious purpose. Not a burden. Not a burden at all. It's just that sometimes we're afraid. Oh, but what if I have all this power? It's not power to control anybody. It's power to rule your own life. It's what it is. Oh, but Angela, that sounds really good, but I can't buy into that just yet. It's too much. Every man awakens in their own time. When you are ready to take the reins, you think something will stop you from taking the reins? No, nothing will stop you when you're ready. But who determines when you're ready? That's right. As within, so without. When you decide that you want to control your life, that is the effect you want, then the cause is aroused within you and you take control. You think taking control is a coincidence? No. You made up your mind, and that's what caused you to act. We don't act because we can. We act because we're compelled to, and we're compelled to act by way of that thought within your mind that you feel, and you say, you know what, that's it. I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. And we talk about those kinds of people. They just get up one day and they had a major change. That major change on the outside is showing you the major change that they had on the inside. So the only person who determines that outward motion would be you. You're the one. It will build and it will build and it will build and it will build until such time you make that decision. Some people call it working up the nerve. And you just do it. But the action on the outside did not happen on its own. So it's not a coincidence. It is an effect. And every effect has its cause. So sooner rather than later, let's take responsibility, yes? Take responsibility. It is a very good thing to have responsibility. And I will go back to that analogy of us being children. We wanted to set our own bedtime. We didn't want to have our parents rule over us with an iron fist. I can't wait till I'm a grown up. But the state of adulthood has certain things that come along with it. Right? And now that we're adulting, we're like, oh my God, we still want someone to make our decisions for us. So today, when you look into the mirror at yourself, look in that mirror with a sense of curiosity, eagerness, boldness. Wait, I get to rule my life? I get to, really, I do? You've been ruling your life this whole time, but you just didn't know it. For the ones who are deliberate in ruling their own lives, they actually generate their own ideas and thoughts. And for the others, thoughts and ideas are generated for them and projected to them, and they accept it as their own. The purpose of a womb is to bring forth the life that has been planted within it. That is the nature of a womb. That's its job. Its task is to bring forth the life that has been planted within it. So the womb of your mind, as above, so below. The womb of your mind is invisible. But the activities that are experienced on the outside are showing you what's contained within your mental womb. And we all have a mental womb. We call it the subconscious mind. So toy with that for yourselves to comprehend that nothing is random nor is it coincidental. Look for the part you played. You'll see it. You know what looking for it causes us to do? It causes us to become deliberate. It causes us to become deliberate in the experience we would like to have. That's what it does. So if you begin looking for your hand in it, your role in it, you'll begin to catch where you unwittingly allowed your mind to just run amok. You'll see it for yourselves. And when you see it, remember, don't feel sorry. Don't judge yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Recognize as within, so without. Oh, snap. That's what I'm thinking there incessantly. All right, what do I want to do? Because that mode of thinking is only a habit. I've practiced this way of thinking for so long, I can breathe and think that way. So, how do I want to think now? Then you choose the new way you want to think and you practice that incessantly. It's a habit. We're only ever comprised of habits, as is our nature. So, you see, there aren't any coincidences. There aren't any. So, be bold this morning. Be bold this morning and take responsibility. You are not going to get it wrong, okay? You'll always get it right. How can I say that with such conviction? Every cause has its effect. Every effect is cause as within, so without. So you will only ever get according to what you've got on the inside. So you will always get it right. Always. You won't get the opposite. You will get exactly what you hold on the inside. So you see, your success is always guaranteed. So when you look at your life and you see something that you're not quite happy with, what is that thing? Don't try and sweep it under the rug. Hello, you need it. You need to see what it is you are experiencing. Why? So you can decide whether you want to keep it or change it. But if you pretend that it doesn't exist, you are only, seriously, you're only gouging out your own eyes and pretending it isn't there. But when you see it, you say, I see you. I see you. What is that? I don't want that in my life anymore. And you see, that's a habit. Look how long I've been doing it. I've just been doing the same thing the same way every time. The great news is I know how to make a habit. So because of this old one, I can see the new one I want to make. All right, I have selected the new way. So I will be diligent. I'm going to practice doing this new thing the same way every time. And if I slip up, catch myself, and I'm going to do the same way every time. That's how you talk to yourself. That is that inner conversation. You can get yourself through anything. Of course you can. Just observe what you're doing. That's why we are always manifesting day in and day out. And whatever we're manifesting, the seeds have been planted. We're just reaping. Listen, the harvest is always ready, which means the experience is always there for us to have. And we're always having an experience. So to have that experience, the seeds were planted. I want to get up and stomp on the floor so bad to do a dance because this is hitting me right now. But I'm not going to get up and do that because these things are in my lap. So I trust this morning you will be curious enough to grab the reins of your life. People only feel hopeless because they don't know the truth. They don't know that they can change. They don't know that they have the power to change. And because sometimes we think we're stuck in it, that's why people do what they do. You know, the big S word. That's why people do what they do. Cause and effect. Look at it and you will see. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Those thoughts don't just creep up out of nowhere. They are entertained incessantly. Why? Because people feel as though they can't do something. And if you look at it, humanity just wants the suffering to stop. But what they don't comprehend is the source of the suffering. Where is it? Within. Within. So today, if you're walking through the shadow of the valley, or the valley of shadows, however you say it, if that's where you're walking through today, here's a little bit of light for you. Well, a lot of light. You can do it. You can change your life. One persistent thought at a time. You have it. Nobody told you, I'm telling you. But because I'm telling you, observe now to see where it is in your own life that you are doing these things. And remember, it's not a cattle prod, it's not a whip, it's not a cat of nine tails. I'm not here to beat you up. I'm here to tell you, listen, did you know that you have control? Did you know that you're powerful? Well, if you don't know, now you know. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to use it now to change your life? Remember, here's something that when I saw it for myself, I was like, holy macaroni. People say, I can't change my life, man. I've been doing this thing forever. But now I come along and tell you to do this new thing forever. And it's a problem. But you have already been doing one thing forever. Do you not see your own level of commitment? Do you not see your own level of faithfulness? You've been committed to one thing for a long time. It tells you you can commit to something else. He who is faithful with little can be trusted to be faithful with much. Why? Because he's practiced being faithful. It's not the size of what he's been practicing. No, the fact that he's been practicing faithfulness is what qualifies him. And you and I practice faithfulness every day. We faithfully return to our habitual state. Faithfully we return to it. You see the power of a habit? Listen, it will drag you, okay? It will drag you because that is its job. It was created just for that purpose, to make you do something. This is why, if you choose the habit that you want to be controlled by, you don't suffer. Why not? Because you're not kicking and screaming. You're just doing what you want to be compelled to do. But it's just that we don't know that we're the ones making the habit. And how do you not know you're the one making the habit? You're the one doing the behavior. Look at it. I want you to see it today for yourselves. I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to me. What do we get up and do so faithfully? And then we say, I don't know how to be faithful to that thing. I don't know how to change. Yes, you do. Look at your behavior. you are persistently doing something, then you can persistently do another thing. And it only appears impossible because of the nature of a habit. But because you now know the nature of a habit, you will always be the ruler of your habits. What is a habit? A habit is any thought, word, action that we do the same way every single time until you can shut your eyes and do it. Until it does what? Takes on the tones of reality. That's what a habit is. So now that you know what a habit is, look at any habit you have in your life now that you don't want. And tell me how it can still have power over you when you know how it got there. You know how it got there, you know how to put another. And then you want to say, well, I don't have that kind of courage. Of course you do. Now you do. You got to get up every morning and be like my boy, my rooster. You got to be like him every morning and get up and listen. It is the most beautiful thing when he shakes all of his feathers out. He goes from a small to an extra, extra large when all those feathers, and then they just come right back down. And that's when he makes his noise. Same thing, the same way every time. He is ruled by his nature. He doesn't question his nature, though, because he has not been imbued with what humanity has been imbued with. The ability to think and speak. His is on a much lower vibration than ours. He's very aware of who and what he is. I watch him every day, so I know. He's aware of who and what he is. He's aware that that leg is not doing what he wants it to do. He's aware. There is a level of awareness for him. So now, if he has a level of awareness, so do you. This is polarity we're looking at here. It's just that his level of awareness is a little bit lower than ours, based upon the ability to speak and to reason. He may not speak the way I do, but he still reasons. So if you can look at an animal and recognize that they do reason, you have it as well. You have it. Because it is law. That's why I tell you, you don't judge yourself. Just observe the habit that you have been doing persistently and faithfully. Do you want to keep doing it? No. Well, then what is a habit? A habit is any thought, word, or action that you do the same way every time. Until such time you stop thinking about it. You don't have to think about it anymore. You just do it. Why? Because you've become it. So you see, we can persist. Let us take a moment now to welcome everyone into the space, shall we? Who is here? Deba. Let's go is here. Daniel. It's symmetric. Hello, Bob. Welcome to the space. It is good to see you all here on Twitter this lovely Monday morning. It really is. YouTube and Facebook, who's here? Miss Trina Bean is in the house. Jeff is here. Not. And for the others who've not made themselves known in the chat on YouTube and Facebook, I see you. Welcome. Lovely to have you. Fan base, who's in the house? Happy is kicking it with us. Miss Boricua L. Hello, darling. Joaquin is here. Stephanie. Ali KZ. Flo Smiles. Oracle Treehouse. Oh, I don't see Shea Butter anymore. That's right. We bring the change always means I bring the change. Yes, Joaquin, I bring the change. Because there's only I, isn't there? There's only I, which is self. But I trust this morning I'm not asking you to agree, disagree, or debate. I am asking you to observe yourself without judgment and see if you don't see it for yourself. And when you see it for yourself, my beautiful friends, you can't unsee it. When you see that you're the one with the power to rule your own life, don't get mad, okay? Don't get mad when you see it. You mean I've had this all along? What isn't that from a movie? It's been in you all along. Of course it has been. Where else would it be? As within, so without. Even if it is dormant within you, the moment you rouse it, you'll see it in your outer world. Oh my God. You think this message will ever change? Nope. Faith comes by hearing. So you'll be, listen, however long it takes you is however long it takes you. But remember, you're going to do it anyway. Every man awakens in their own time. You're going to come across it. You're not some weakling. That's not what you are. You're God itself. Indeed, you most certainly are. Listen, whether you believe it or not is irrelevant because that's what you are. That's what you are. And whether you believe it or not doesn't make it different. So, two choices lay before us: accept it or don't. But either way, you can't escape what you are. So we can either continue to beat the drum of woe is me, or we can beat the drum of I am. Let me get the bowl. And as you hear the bowl this morning, I will free my boy because he's in the closet. The door is open though, but he's in the closet. When you hear the bowl this morning, allow. Allow, don't repress that curiosity of, wait, I am? Uh yes. Yes, you are. I am what? That. As you hear the bowl this morning, allow yourself to wonder, to contemplate. Wait, now she could be crazy, but I know what my life looks like. I can see my habits. I could name one right now. Totally. Maybe she's not nuts after all. But I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to begin. When you hear the sound of the bowl, begin by allowing. Tossa. Mm. Begin by allowing yourself to just sit there. If you're driving, focus on the road. But if you're not and you're just puttering about and getting ready, take a brief moment and just sit there as you hear the bowl. And inhale and exhale. And as you inhale and exhale, recognize that the inhalation and the exhalation is an effect. When you inhale and exhale, that is an effect. You are doing something. So if there's an effect, there's a cause. What is that invisible cause that you cannot see that causes you to inhale and exhale? I'm getting the bull. Contemplate. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. Tossa, welcome to the space. It was great seeing you. Let's go. I see you. Daniel, it's Symmetric, and Bob. Thank you so very much for being here this morning on Twitter. I look forward to seeing you again in the morning, but tonight, 10:45 p.m., we are reading a Neville Goddard lecture like we always do to get us in the mood or the state of the wish fulfilled as we fall asleep. Because the way we fall asleep, that determines the type of dreams and then the way we wake up. Much love to you, Twitter. Much love to you. YouTube and Facebook. Landon. Why, thank you for the flowers, darling. They're very beautiful. It's good to see you, Landon. And Miss Trina, Jeff, Anot, and for the others on YouTube and Facebook this morning, thank you all for being here. I do appreciate you. Watch for announcements. One's coming up pretty soon about the Barbados retreat. So that's coming this week. I will see you tonight, 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't remember the name of the lecture, but it is sure to be fire. I love what Anot has in there. She says to join positively, Angela, and there's a rooster. That's so cute. Anywho, I love you guys. YouTube, Facebook, peace.